Welcome back, Fantasy Fiction Fanatics. It's great to see you again, and I hope you're doing well. Today I thought it'd be fun to do another judging covers video. We haven't done one of these in a while, and I just thought it would be fun to bring it back and to see if we can select a book and talk about its cover and see if we think that the cover does the book justice and if it is a true representation of how good the book is, or if it's corresponds to the story itself. And today's book cover that I decided to choose from is called A Hidden Fire by Elizabeth Hunter, and it is book 1 of the Elemental Mysteries series. So this cover, I personally think, fits and yet doesn't fit the story. This is one where it's like I can totally see it fitting, and yet at the same time I don't think that it shows the integrity of the book enough that it is open to a larger audience, or opens it up to the larger audience that I think would like it. So let's go ahead and discuss a little bit about the title or the cover before I go into explaining a little bit more about what I mean. So the cover here, I'll go ahead and flash it up for you guys, is a picture of, I think it's a library. I'm looking at it on my phone here. I think it's a library on the bottom part, and the top part has like the roof or whatever, and then it has, you know, the title and everything, and there's a guy with his shirt open. So it definitely has the vibe of a romance novel. Because, you know, mostly romance novels are the ones that have naked guys' chests on the cover. And if you are thinking that looks definitely like a romance novel, you're not totally wrong. Because it is probably labeled a romance. Probably. It's probably labeled a romance. For many aspects, and that is because, in general, the main storyline happens because of a romance. It actually does start the whole process of this story because it is a romance. However, the one thing that I have always thought about this book and this series, it's a series of 4 books in general, is that it's not just a romance. I think that does not do it justice to call it a simple romance novel and something that only people who like romance novels or paranormal romances would appreciate. Now, I'm a big romance fan. I'm a big paranormal romance fan. So obviously that is coming from somebody who already likes this genre. However, I do really appreciate this novel because it is much more than just a romance. It is a really super good urban fantasy novel. It's got a very in-depth, very sophisticated vampire story, vampire lore, vampire world, whatever you want to say. It's really, really in-depth in the actual world building, in the character building, and in the overarching plot. It is more than just a romance. Sure, the story starts with a romance, and sure, the continuous plot line throughout all of it does relate around the people who have that romance. Giovanni and Beatrice are the 2 main people. And sure, like, events start rolling because they meet and they start falling in love. Sure, 100%, it has a big element of it, which is romance. However, there is a much larger overarching plot throughout all 4 books that is much more sophisticated, much more interesting than just a romance. It has a lot of in-depth qualities to the world, to the characters, to the setting. There is just so much more and so much depth to this series, and especially this book, than just it being a romance. So for me, keeping all that in mind, is I don't think this cover does it justice because I feel like it comes off as just a romance novel. I don't think it is allowing other audiences who are not into romances to pick up the book and think that's something that they want to try. I think that it's a shame, really, because this book has a lot more to offer people than just the romance, and there is a lot more to it than just romance. And I think if anybody who really likes urban fantasy picked up this book and gave it a try, as long as they're not like, you know, they don't want to have any romance in it, that's different. Obviously, this one does have the romance aspect, but if you're okay with having some romance and having that be kind of not, I don't want to say like the only thing about it, but it is a bigger element of the book, I think you will really, really like it. Even if you're not like wanting a full-on romance novel, I think that there is so much more to offer in this book than it is showing through the cover. So, if you've read this book or this series, please let me know what you think about this cover and how it relates to the book. Let me know what your thoughts are on the cover, and if you would ever pick this up by just looking at the cover and the title and being like, yep, that's something that's interesting to me. Or if you think that based on what I've told you, would you pick it up now despite the cover? I just really love to know your thoughts, your feelings, your initial impression about this book based on, seeing the cover, anything at all. I would just love to hear your thoughts about this and to see what you think. All right, I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.